Imagine you're just a kid, barely 10 years old, with nothing but a foul mouth, a little swagger, and a dream. A dream to find your aunt. Sounds simple, right? Pack your bag, hit the road, and boom, you're hugging your aunt in no time. Except, your journey happens to run straight through the most brutal, blood-soaked civil wars in West Africa. And guess what? You don't just watch the war, you join it. Voluntarily. Why? Because why not? Yeah, this story is not your Disney road trip. It's the kind where people wear talismans and AK-47s at the same time. Priests become warlords, and dead bodies. Let's just say dogs eat well in this book.
Come again?
Stick around, because this is one of those stories that will make you laugh, cringe, and question humanity, all at once. And oh, the narrator? He insists on calling his tale bullshit. His words, not mine.
The full, final, and completely complete title of my bullshit story is Allah is not obliged to be fair about all the things he does here on earth.
Welcome to the madness. Let's dive in. Our narrator is Birahima, a 10-year-old street kid from Côte d'Ivoire. Now, 10-year-olds usually dream of candy, football, maybe becoming a superhero. But Birahima? Nah. He dreams of finding his Aunt Mahan after his crippled mother dies. So, he hits the road with Yakuba, a fast-talking trickster who doubles as a juju man. Sounds harmless, right? Two travelers on a mission. Except, they're heading straight into Liberia. And Liberia, at this time, is the definition of chaos. The country is on fire, literally and politically. Civil war, tribal fights, child soldiers, warlords, you name it. But hey, Birahima doesn't care. He's got his street smarts and an attitude bigger than his age. And he loves his swear words. Oh, you'll hear a lot of those. Words like foforo, namakode, and of course the universal classic f***. So, how does a simple trip to find an aunt turn into a nightmare tour of West Africa's bloodiest conflicts? Well, first stop, Liberia. Birahima and Yakuba walk right into the war zone, and the next thing you know, they're knee-deep in rebels, militias, and juju rituals. These aren't your regular bad guys. These are Kalashnikov-carrying priests and teenage killers high on drugs.
What the hell?
Take Captain Papa Lebon, for instance. What a character. Once upon a time, he was training to be a priest in the U.S. Imagine that. Preaching the gospel one day, then chopping off heads the next. He stayed in Liberia when the war broke out, turned rebel leader, and started living the double life. Bible in one hand, Alaska, 47 in the other. Spiritual leader by day, war criminal by night. And oh, he was also the alpha male, satisfying his emotional needs with other people's wives, priest, preacher, pimp, and psychopath. A full package. Birahima sums it all up for us. These adults, they're completely nuts. Animal instincts on overdrive. And then there's the child soldiers, the heart and horror of this story. Little kids with guns bigger than their bodies, hopped up on drugs, and killing like it's a video game. Birahima becomes one of them. And the way he tells it? So casual, so sarcastic. It's almost funny until you realize these things actually happened.
Huh?
Let me give you an example. Here's how Sarah's story goes. Brace yourself. Sarah's mom dies, knocked down by a drunk driver. Dad? Useless. Sends her to his sister. The aunt beats her for fun. Boys steal from her, she can't pay back, and boom, she gets beaten again. Second time? Sarah says forget it and hits the streets. Then she gets raped, hospitalized, discharged, ends up in an orphanage. You'd think that's a safe place, right? Nope. The orphanage gets attacked, nuns raped and murdered, and Sarah? She becomes a prostitute, then a child soldier. And she's not alone. Almost every kid Birahima meets has a story dipped in blood and tragedy.
Damn!
At some point, Birahima stops even pretending to care. He says everyone is countries, presidents, people, and honestly, he's not wrong. The leaders in this book are just as insane. From Houphouët Boigny to Gaddafi. All dictators, all corrupt. But the war scenes? Pure madness. Imagine rebels cutting off limbs, feeding human flesh to dogs, and priests doing exorcisms between massacres. It's grotesque. It's shocking. And Kourouma doesn't hold back. If there was a contest for the most macabre African war novel, this book would be the heavyweight champion. Even the little details are insane, like the dictionary thing. Birahima claims he's illiterate, but somehow he keeps using big words, and every time he pauses to explain them using a dictionary. Cute idea, right? Except how does an illiterate street kid pull that off? And why define simple words like stuff but leave out others? It gets annoying real fast. And the historical info? Wow. Birahima knows dates, places, conference meetings, and even secret political moves like he was in the room. How? No idea. Unless, and this is what I believe, it's actually Kourouma venting through Birahima. The author just can't resist hijacking the story to drop his knowledge and anger. So yeah, sometimes it feels less like a novel and more like a political essay in disguise. By the way, the ending, predictable, Aunt Mahan is dead. I mean, after all that death, who's surprised?
Shut the front door.
And that, my friends, is Allah is Not Obliged by Ahmadou Kourouma, a book that throws you straight into the hellfire of Liberia and Sierra Leone's civil wars, told through the foul-mouthed, sarcastic voice of a 10-year-old boy who's seen too much. Now let's talk. Did I like this book? Yes and no. Yes, because it's raw, it's honest, it doesn't sugarcoat anything. If you want a realistic, unfiltered picture of West Africa's wars, this is it. The brutality, the politics, the hypocrisy, it's all here. And Kourouma's humor, dark, biting, and brilliant at times. But no, because the execution? Flawed. The child narrator doesn't feel real. He knows too much. His voice is just too smart for a street kid who barely had an education. And the constant dictionary gimmick? Funny at first, then downright irritating. And let's talk about the gore. There's so much of it that after a while, it stops shocking you. When everything is macabre, nothing feels special. The horror loses its weight. Also, the characters? Flat. They don't grow, they don't change, they just kill, rape, steal, and move on like zombies. No depth, no emotion, nothing. But still, this book matters. Why? Because it captures a piece of history most of the world has forgotten. The Liberian and Sierra Leonean wars were real. Hundreds of thousands died. And if you can stomach the gore and the chaos, you'll come out with a better understanding of that dark chapter in Africa's story. So what's the book really about? War and innocence, how war destroys childhood, power and corruption. From priests to presidents, everyone's drunk on power. Survival in a world where morality doesn't exist, you do what you must. Hypocrisy, leaders preaching peace while bathing in blood. Ahmadou Kourouma, who lived from 1927 to 2003, was an Ivorian novelist who knew a thing or two about colonialism, politics, and exile. He fought in the French military, studied in Lyon, and spent years criticizing corrupt African governments. His earlier books tackled post-colonial disillusionment and dictatorship, but this one, published in 2000, earned him France's Prix Renaudot and Prix Goncourt de Lycée. Why? Because when it comes to war stories, he doesn't hold back. So, would I recommend it? If you love dark satire, political commentary, and can handle graphic violence, yes. But if you want lovable characters and a clean narrative arc, stay away. That's it for today's review. Let me know in the comments. Do you think African writers should write more about wars and poverty, or explore other stories? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this, hit like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into classic African literature. Until next time, read boldly. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're interested in diving deeper into this book, I've left some links down in the description. You can use it to grab yourself a copy and keep the adventure going. And if you're in the mood for more great reads, don't go just yet. Click on one of the videos popping up right now that I think you'll love. And don't forget to give this review a like, leave a comment, or even subscribe if you'd like to see more. Every bit of support helps us grow this little community of book lovers. See you in the next one.